backup restore plus export import. How to export and how to import the data. Okay, now. So, for example, then, for example, then, so I have some data sets. Data set means a file. Okay, now. Then, so okay. So these are all some data sets. Okay, then so this is there in one website. What that website is Kaggle.com. You can find number of data sets, sample data sets, files. Okay, so then just you can search, for example, then okay, there is a called domestic food prices after COVID-19. Okay, na? Then I want to download this. Okay, what are their country, price type, next one market, next one community, etc. Okay, na? So there are some data is there. You want to download this file. Okay, na? Then you want to download this file. So there is a download. Then this file will be downloaded. So it is asking sign in. I want to sign in with Google account. So let's sign in with Google account. Okay, then now at the rate. Okay, now like once you click the download, so that file will be now you like you connected to that Google account. Now you can download this. Now it's downloading. It's downloaded. You can see this in what downloads. And what this file is called? This file is called CSV file. These data sets are available in what format? CSV, comma separated value. Maximum in internet. So the data sets are available. Sample data sets are maximum available in CSV format. What is CSV stands for? Comma separated value. Comma separated value. Okay. So now it is there. So that CSV file is there. It is there in downloads. Yes or no? This CSV file is there in downloads. Copy this. Next. But that file contains what? That file contains, then I'll copy this file in, suppose D drive, in one folder. What that folder is? Backups folder. Then, so paste it. Okay, na? Then that file is copied to this one. I downloaded this file and it is copied to this folder. If you want to open this file, so this is what's it? Excel file, not Excel actually, not XLS, not XLS. File is what? CSV, comma separated, but CSV files can be opened in what? Excel. But extension is not XLS. Extension is .csv. But you can open that files in Excel. I want this data set in what? SQL Server table. I want to copy this data to what? SQL Server table because I want to write some queries. I want to do some analysis. In SQL, there are number of facilities are there, group by is there, functions are there. So we can do analysis. So I want to copy this data to SQL Server table. In which database? Batch 9 a.m. Then what task? What is import? Import data. Okay, now anything outside to SQL Server, import SQL Server to outside, then export. So I want to import the data. Then it is asking what is the source? What is the source? The source is what? Source is CSV file, but CSV file is not there in this list. What is it? Flat file. Select what? Flat file. Select flat file. Okay, na? Select flat file. Understood? Then next to what? Browse. When you browse, then what is like so CSV files. Okay, na? CSV file. Then where is this CSV file? Just now we downloaded. That is there in what's C drive. So go to C drive, sorry, D drive, backups folder, select the file. This is the file. This is the file. Select the file. CSV file. But what you have to select the source? Flat file, not Excel. Excel means it will expect .xls, but it's not .xls. It is CSV. Then select what? Flat file. Okay, now then. So next one. So click next. After selecting the file, click what's it? Next. It is asking what is the destination? What is the destination? SQL Server. SQL Server native client. Destination is SQL Server native client. SQL Server authentication. What is the authentication? SA. Authentication is SA. Password is what? 1, 2, 3. Click what? Okay, na? Next. Click next. So click next. Then this is the file. This file is copied to this table. This file is copied to this table. Okay. So click next. Do we need to create the table or automatically created? Automatically created. Why? Because here there is one option is selected. Create what's it? Destination table. Create destination table. The table will be created automatically. Click next. Click next. Click finish. 1144 rows transfer. That means that file contains how many rows? 1144 rows. All the rows are copied to this table. I want to see the table. Then select first see the list. Select star from what? Information underscore schema dot what's it? Tables. Information underscore schema dot what? Tables. Tables. Okay. Run this query. Then now. So what is the table? Then this is the table name. What is DOM change percentage? Domestic price change percentage. Okay. Then so copy this table, paste it here. Now let me run this query. That's all. So country name, price type, market. Next one. What is the commodity? Okay, na? What is the category? Product category plus percentage. Okay, na? Post-COVID. Then post-COVID, how much change? Okay, na? Post-COVID, how much change? Yearly, how much change? Like that. So it is showing something like this. Understood? Then okay, na? Now Sir, okay? Now, that's all. This is what, how to what load, how to import. Then first, what you have to do? First, import the data set. Then go to Google, type sample data sets. Otherwise, go to one website. In this website, you can find number of data sets. What that website is? kaggle.com. Okay, then. So search for what website? Search for the data sets. What data sets you want? Okay, na? Then now. So search for the data sets. Okay, then. Sir, understood now? Then. So for example, I want the COVID data. Then I just want what you want is, I want, for example, COVID related data. Okay, COVID data sets, COVID-19 data sets. Okay, then this is 10 MB. So I want this one. Okay, COVID-19 data set. I want to download this. Then download this data set. How to download? Then CSV file. Then so download this. So it's downloaded. Already you logged in now. Otherwise, first time, then it will ask what? Login. So, okay, then. Now, then, let's see. Then copy this file. Okay, copy this file. Copy this file. Now, go to what? Our folder. What is that folder? Go to this folder, D drive, backups, then copy that file, paste. But this is zip file. This is zip file. What you do? Unzip. How to unzip? Extract. Extract here. Okay, na? Extract it. Understood? Then 46.296 KB, kilobytes. Okay, then. So I want this data in what? SQL Server table. Then what you do? I want this data in SQL Server table. Go to SQL Server. Which database you want the table? DB 9 AM. Right click. Then what? Task, import data. Then select the source. But what should be the source? The source should be what's that? Flat file. Source should be flat file. Next one, browse. Select the file. So where the file is there in D drive, backups folder. Okay. So here it is not showing because here it is what? Text file, but it's not text file. It is a CSV file. Change the type. Change the type to what's CSV. Then it will show. This one. I want this one. Open. Okay, na? Next, so these are the columns. Okay, then. So click what? Next. Click next. Click next. Additional information. Oh, sorry. What is the destination? Destination is what? SQL Server native client. What is SA? Next one. 1, 2, 3. Click what? Next. So this data is copied to this table. Okay. Then click what? Next. Click next. Click finish. So data is copied to this table. $1,20,000 rows, 1,40,000. So 1 lakh what's 66,326 rows. Okay, then. So the table contains these many rows. That file contains those many rows. All the rows are copied to the table. Now just go and check the table. What is first? See the table because I want to see the table name. This is the table name. Okay, na? Then if you want, you can rename this. Okay, na? If you want, you can rename this. Then let's see what is, this is the name. Then, sir, it contains some hyphens. Then better to give it in what? Double quotes. If it contains some invalid characters, when it contains invalid characters, give it in what? Double quotes. Because in SQL Server, these characters are not allowed. Table name should not contain this. Only underscore is allowed. So that's why better to change the table name after, okay, na, loading. So better to change the table name. What it is showing? It is showing each and every country, what's the cases, new cases like that, date on so and so date. What are the total cases? Okay, COVID cases, Asia, Afghanistan, date, like total cases, total number of cases. In so and so date, how many cases are registered? Total cases, so and so date. Understood or not? Then no. Okay, na? Then I want country-wise total cases. Then I want country-wise total cases. Here, where is the country? Country is there in what? Location. Then what you have to say? Location, what, comma, then sum of what's that? Total cases. Next one, from what is the table name? This is the table name. And group by what's that? Location. Then what you will get? Country-wise total number of cases. Afghanistan, total number of cases are what's that? Added. Okay, then. So let me run this. Then. So give it in what? Double quotes. Then. So execute this. Okay. Again, these are the problems you get after downloading. After downloading, you'll encounter some problems. Because here, what is the data type of this? Total cases. No. See, here, you see that. See the structure. SP help what? Table name. Then that's what is required is, after loading, some processing is required. You need to change the data type. You need to change the table name. So you see the table. In table, okay, na? What is the data type of all the fields? Data type is what, sir? Varchar. This is text file, something like text file. In text file, every field is what, sir? Varchar. So that is the reason you cannot apply what, sir? Some function. If you want to apply some function, so this should be what? Total cases should be converted to what type? Integer type. And then how to change? Alter table, what's it? Table name. Alter table name. Then next one, alter column name. What is the column name? Total underscore cases. Then what is the type? Integer type. Okay, na? So let me execute this. Then so it contains what, sir? Decimal. Decimal is there. Then convert this to what type? Sir, one case, the 1,37,868.0 is there. That cannot be converted to integer type. Yes or no? Then what? Convert it to float type. What are the float types? Like what? Decimal. Decimal is there. So decimal, then suppose 10,2, something. You know, na? Then, so execute this command. Okay. Error converting, some data is there, boss. But that is what? Once again. Okay. Once again, location, what's it? Sum of what? Total cases, no? Okay, na? And total cases. What? Convert the total cases to what type? Integer type. Here, I'm converting at the time of sum as total. From this table name, let's say group by what's that? Location. Sorry. Once again, what? Cast. Once again. Cast what? Total cases as integer. Let's say invalid column, what's that? Location. As what? Decimal. What you have to do is then do one thing, create one table, copy the data into the table. Then next you can run the queries. Sir, okay now? Okay, it's not allowing to convert. Then what you do one thing, create what's that? Table, create the table, copy the data into the table. Then next you can run the queries. Because we need to check the data, like, okay, then. What the reason is? The reason is, if you want to change the data type, so it must be empty. If column is empty, then easily we can change. Because the column is not empty now, that's why it is not allowing. Okay. That's why you create one table. You create what's it? Table. You create one table with the suitable data types. Next, you can copy the data from this table to that table. Next, you can run the queries. Okay, now? Then. Okay. So what is this is? This is how to what? Okay, now? This is how to what's that? Import the data from, like, okay, then to SQL Server. Okay. Next. Then. What are the next? There are there is one, what that is called? Temporary what's that? Tables. Okay, temporary tables. Then. Okay, na? Temporary tables. Now, so, like, what are temporary tables? Okay, so these temporary tables are created to store data temporarily. Like normal tables store the data what? Permanently. Like we created some number of tables. All the tables stores data what? Permanently. But temporary table stores data what? Temporarily. Okay, na? Then. So, and these tables, then temporary tables stores data temporarily. Created to store data temporarily. Temporary tables are created to store data temporarily. Okay, then. Now. Okay, na? So for temporary storage. Now, like suppose here, then, and the temporary tables are not created in what's our database. Temporary tables are created in another database. Which database means the temporary tables are created in temp database. Temporary tables are created in what? Temp database. So if you create a table, for example, I open DB 9 AM, create the table. Where the table is created? DB 9 AM. So the table is created in DB 9 AM. Yes or no? But if you create temporary table, it's not created in DB 9 AM. It is created in what? Temp database. Okay. So not created in a current database. They are created in what's the temp database. Okay. Then so, and these tables are created. So these tables are created in, okay, na? So these tables are created in temp database, temp DB. Okay, so these tables are created in temp DB. Now, and temporary tables are two types. Okay, temporary tables are two types. One is, okay, na? Temporary tables are two types. One is what? That. So temporary tables are two types. One is local temporary tables, local temporary tables. The second one, global temporary tables. Okay. Local temporary tables and global temporary tables. So temporary tables are two types, local and global. Okay. Then so first we'll see local temporary tables. Then actually why they are called temporary? Okay, now why they are called temporary? Because these tables data exist up to the session. These tables exist what? Up to the session. Once session is closed, the tables are destroyed automatically. Normal tables what? If you close the session, the table is destroyed? No. So today we create the table, tomorrow also we can use the table. Yes or no? But temporary tables are not like that. So you create the table, so it exists up to the session. Once session closes, the temporary table is automatically dropped. Okay, na? It exists throughout the session. Okay, then. So these tables are called temporary because these tables are called temporary because because they exist what? Up to the session. And once session closes, that means session means connection. Once connection closes, once session closes, the tables are what? Tables are destroyed automatically. So these tables are called temporary because they exist up to the session, and once session closes, tables destroyed automatically. Okay, then. Sir, okay na? Now, sir, actually, for storing the data temporarily, you already know one method. What is that? Huh? Table is there, boss. Table data. I want to store the table data. I want table data. So for that, you already know one method. What is that? For storing the data temporarily, you already know one method. EMP table is there. EMP table contains some data. I want that data in my program. If you want the data in program, then what you do? You get the data, store the data into cursor access one by one record from cursor? Yes or no? Cursor is also storing the data what's it? Temporarily. Yes or no? So this temporary tables also store the data what's it? Temporarily. What is the advantage? Advantage is, see, like depends. Suppose here, for example, in case of cursor, what you do? In case of cursor, sir, this is server. Inside the server, this is instance. Okay, now then this is instance. So where the cursor data stored? Cursor data stored in what's it? Instance. So there are 14 rows. All the 14 rows are stored in instance. Yes or no? Temporary memory. Now, so this is your program. This is the program. So what you do, you get what's it? One by one record from cursor. You get one by one record from cursor. Yes or no? So whenever you execute fetch statement, then it will fetch the record from what? Every time fetch statement is executed, it will fetch the record from what? Cursor, server. Where is the cursor? Cursor is there in what? Server. So every time it will fetch the record from server. So this degrades what's the performance? This degrades what? Performance. Suppose my cursor contains lakhs of rows. If it contains lakhs of rows, accessing one by one record, so that degrades what? Performance, because every time you have to go to the server. Yes or no? So this degrades what? Performance. Okay, na? So like here in this case, instead of using cursor, we can use temporary tables. If we use temporary tables, then so the request will not go to the database. The request will go to what's a temp database. Okay, na? The request will not go to the actual database. The request will go to what's a temp database. Okay, then now then next here, and one more thing, why these tables are called local temporary tables? Okay, these tables are called local temporary tables because you can access these tables only within the session where it is created. Suppose I create the temporary tables here. I create the temporary table here. I can access only in this session. I cannot access what? Another session. Like suppose I select new query. When I select new query, one more session is open. I cannot access the table in this session. I can access only within the session where it is created. Okay, then now let's see. So these tables, okay, these tables can be accessed, only within the session where it is created. Can be accessed only within the session where it is created. In whichever the session you create this table, you can access only within that session. You cannot use this WhatsApp another session. Sir, okay. Then what? Now how to create? So creating the temporary table, and these temporary tables are prefixed with what's our hash. Okay, na? Then temporary tables are prefixed with what? This symbol, hash. Temporary tables are prefixed with hash. Okay, then let's see example. Create what? Create table, what's it? Hash what? Temp. Create table hash temp. One field is what? EMP integer. One field is EMP integer. One field is what? Ename varchar of 10. Okay, na? Then one field is EMP integer. One field is ename varchar of 10. One field is salary. This is what money type. So database tables data. Actually, sir, we create the tables. We don't directly insert the data into this table by using insert command. If you want, you can insert, but actually why they are created in database, some table is there. I want the table data. I want the table data. I'm writing a program. In that program, I want to process the table data. Then to process the table data, one method already you know, cursor. Another method is what, sir? Get the data from table, copy the data into temporary table and use the temporary table. Understood now? One method is what? Cursor. Get the data from table, store the data into cursor, access one by one record from cursor. That is one. Second method, get the data from database table, copy the data into temporary table, and now access one by one record from temporary table. Whatever you want to process, you can process. Okay. So let me execute this. Let me execute this command now. So this is what like execute. Commands completed successfully. Table is what? Created. But just go and check where you can find this. Will you find this in DB 9 AM? You see that it is there? No, it's not there. Where you can find this? You can find this in what's that? TempDB. Just go to open the TempDB. Temporary tables. In TempDB, there is a called temporary tables. Ash temp. What's that? Ash temp. Ash temp is there or not? Yes. And it's created with what? Some code. Okay, now we don't need, just we need only this ash temp. So now this is creating the temporary table. So temporary tables are prefixed with what? Ash. Then I want to copy the data. Okay, na? I want to copy the data. Then insert the data into temporary table. Now inserting data into temporary table. Inserting data into temporary table. Then what? Inserting data into temporary table. Then insert into what? Ash temp. So what data you want? Employees data. Actually, employees data is there in EMP table. I want to copy the data into temporary table, and I use the temporary table to process the data. Understood? Then insert into temp. Then, but don't give like this values like this, because you are not giving the values. Okay, the values are already there in what? EMP table. Just copy that EMP table data into this one. Then what you have to write like this? Select what? EMP NO, e-name salary from EMP. Whatever data written by this query, the data is copied to what's that? Temporary table. So this query output is copied to the temporary table. Okay, this query output is copied to the temporary table. Now let me run this, then execute. Now what? So 7 rows, what's that? Affected. Maybe EMP table contains what? 7 rows. That 7 rows are copied to this temporary table. Sir, followed or not? That 7 rows are copied to what's that? Temporary table. Okay. Now next, what you can access this data, you can process this data like this. So if you want, you can see this. Now select star from what? Select star from what's that? Ash temp. Select star from ash temp. Now see this. Now, so all the 7 employees data is copied to this temporary table. Okay. Then understood now? So this is what's creating. This is what? Copying the data. Copying the data from actual table to the temporary table. Now use this temporary table in your programs. Instead of using the actual table, then use this temporary table. Because if you use temporary table, every time request will